What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Dan Bantell of Coming on Strong. Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Rich, how are you? Thanks for having me.
I am excited. I am awesome. We're going to come on strong today, and curious, what is Coming on Strong?
And that's a good question. I'm glad it's the first one. Rich, so Coming on Strong is an apparel line that launched just over a year ago. And when I say apparel, Rich, I'm talking about graphic T-shirts, hoodies, hats, and I've got a few other pieces of apparel on the back burner too. And it's all done with a motivational, inspirational, messaging being deployed on the shirts, on the hats, on the hoodies. It's a kind of apparel you might see, in a gym. It's the type of, hoodie that you'd see around a campfire. It's the type of hat you just see somebody rocking on a summer day, things like that. So, it's an apparel line with motivational and inspirational messaging on it.
How did you come up with the name Coming on Strong?
And Coming on Strong, I feel like that is something I honestly started saying as a joke, maybe back in 2017, 2018, not really understanding or really knowing what it meant. I just kind of kept saying it, and it kind of stuck with me. And as the years have gone by and I've grown as a person, what I realized is, everything I do, I'm really just coming on strong. I mean, I'm an Aries. I'm an Aries. I'm aggressive. I'm type A. I think that kind of captures, the whole epitome of coming on strong. It's not taking no for an answer. It's persevering. It's doing what you've got to do to get what you want to get. It's kind of in your face.
It sounds to me like it's something of an affirmation, which really puts you back in that spot and that mindset of where you want to make sure you keep that energy up and you know where you want to go.
That's exactly right. An affirmation, a mantra, a way of life, paralleling that. For me, it's a way of life. It's how I go through my day. You get 100% of me 100% of the time.
How has the response been to the apparel line, to what you've been producing, to some of the designs?
The response is interesting. So if you look at some of the apparel, some of the messaging that's on it, it's mind over matter, coming on strong, supernatural. And at any given time, when somebody makes a purchase, for example, I do a lot of pop-up events throughout the Delco region. And, somebody comes to our booth and purchases any one of those graphics. I always ask them, what drew you to it? And to hear all of the different responses to that question about the same logo, the same design, I could get 5 different answers to that same logo. And I think it's well received. Somebody finds something in each of these logos that's relevant to them and where they're at in their journey, in their life, in their, in their fitness program, whatever it is. It's well received. And in my opinion, Rich, I think the company was launched at a perfect time, meaning there was a lot of negativity in the world, a lot of negativity in the universe. And, to have apparel presented to you that literally just says mind over matter. I'm actually wearing one of them right now, mind over matter. I think it just hits at the right time, and it's well received. It's received much better than I expected.
When you talk about this is something you started to say in 2017, 2018, how did you go about deciding I want to take this and I want it to be on apparel and getting into the design aspect of it? How did that come to be for you?
So that's another really good question. How did I get into it? So by day, I sell outdoor power equipment to dealerships throughout Northeast Pennsylvania, Central Pennsylvania, and Southwest Pennsylvania. I'm a territory manager for a distribution company. And by night, I run Coming on Strong Apparel. So that tells you I have a full-time job and I have a quote unquote side hustle. And that's the way my life has always been. I've always either been 100% self-employed or employed and had a side hustle. Coming on Strong Apparel launched just over a year ago. And that was after I sold my shares of a brick and mortar cigar shop in Northeast Pennsylvania to my partners, and was just kind of, I sold my shares to them. And I just kind of said to myself, now what? What do I do now? I have a great job. I love what I do. But when you have that entrepreneurial itch, it needs to be scratched or itched. So what I knew is I had a message with Coming On Strong that I believe people need to hear. What I also knew is I didn't know anything about apparel. I didn't know anything about e-commerce. And I also knew that people needed a way. I also knew people needed a way basically to get motivational apparel delivered to their door, right? With the click of a button, you could order a size medium or a XX t-shirt or hoodie and have it sent to you, regardless of where you live in the country or what country you live in. I've shipped coast to coast, and I've even shipped out of the country into the UK, which is pretty cool. So I just got busy really learning that, to go from a cigar shop to selling apparel on the internet. Those are night and day things. That's how I got into it. I wanted to learn. I wanted to grow. I wanted to expand who I was and what my abilities were as a person. So I took my message and I started creating some designs and having them to put on t-shirts and hoodies and hats like the one I'm wearing, and take it day by day. Just keep plowing forward.
You do all the cool design work too. A lot of this stuff and your ideas are coming right from your head to your apparel. So people are getting, it's not just, you farming out, something on Fiverr. This is what's coming out of your mind onto a shirt or a hoodie or a hat. And somebody's going to get something and it was handmade by you.
You're exactly right. It's, one of the things I did when I launched was I did a really good job at convincing myself I wasn't creative. I had the ideas in my head of what I wanted things to look like, but I did such a good job at convincing myself that I wasn't creative, that I worked and I worked with a graphic artist who brought those ideas to life. They were paid for that, and now I own those graphics. And in the recent past, I've gotten very comfortable convincing myself that I am indeed creative. So now all of these designs and ideas that I have in my head, I'm able to sit here in my office and bring them to life right here in my house, from my head to the computer, print, production downstairs in our basement. And it's the coolest thing to be doing everything in-house, everything from sourcing the blank shirts to creating the artwork to printing on the shirts to folding them and tagging them and bagging them and sending them out, and you name it. It's cool, and it's an experience. And just over a year ago, I didn't know anything about any of it.
I love the story of how you've really taken this idea of, I can't do this, but I'm curious. And you've overcome obstacles along the way, and you've discovered yourself. This has also been a discovery process that's come out of just something that you said, whether it was a gym or whether it was the family, this has blossomed into a real discovery of who you are and what you're capable of doing. And that should resonate with the messages that are coming from your apparel and what you're producing.
If you told me 2 years ago I'd be doing this, I'd laugh at you and tell you you're crazy. Like I said, I didn't know anything about it, and now all of a sudden I'm doing all of that in our basement and creating our own designs, which is wild because literally 6 months ago I was 100% convinced I wasn't creative and I wasn't artistic and I didn't have it in me, and I decided to stop telling myself that and started telling myself the complete opposite. And it's cool. It's cool to see it come to life, and it's a cool feeling knowing that you could change your mind's eye that quick.
You may have come up with your next logo design where it just says you are ... or just I am ... Just the idea that we can tell ourselves and start to experience something and then realize, you know what? I am creative. You know what? Yep. I am smart. You know what? I am loving. You know what? I mean, all these things that maybe somebody told us when we were in the third grade, who knows? Yeah. And we just bought on to that, that misinformation, so to speak. And all this creativity, Dan, for you, that's been so deep inside of you. It just can't wait to come out now.
I think you're exactly right. And, when you get that itch and you say, boy, I want to create, I want to learn, having ideas in your head, Rich, and trying to work with a graphic artist or graphic designer to bring them to life exactly the way you want, sounds really easy. But there's challenges to it, because you can only do so many edits, and, you don't know if you're getting under their skin or they're getting under your skin. And, so just to eliminate that, and I'm not saying there's not a place for it, Rich, but to eliminate that and know that you are in 100% control of every detail. I'm a detail person. When I set up my booth at at an event on a Saturday or a Sunday, and somebody comes up to me and says, this is really cool. Did you make it? I look them right in the eye and say, yeah, I did. That's pretty cool to be able to say that. I didn't buy it from somewhere and I'm upping the price. Chances are we're doing a Delco, an event in Delco. We live in Havertown. So there's a really good chance that if I tell you, yeah, man, like I made this in my basement, we live right off of, XYZ road behind this, that, and the other thing. It's all done right there. It's not being brought in and then resold or anything like that. It's wild.
Now, how do people find you? How do people shop online? Can you share some pop-up experiences that you'll be doing in the month of December?
Yeah, so we have an e-commerce website. It's www.comingonstrong.net. And actually, we're running right now. By the time this podcast airs, it'll be irrelevant. So I'll just save it. But yeah, www.comingonstrong.net is our e-commerce website. You can follow me personally on Instagram or Facebook at Dan Bantell. It's my name. The company Coming On Strong does have an Instagram and Facebook page at Coming On Strong Apparel. That's Instagram and Facebook at Coming On Strong Apparel. And as far as events go in the month of December, as of right now, Rich, I don't have anything lined up. I don't have anything in the books. Just came out of a really good event a week ago, last Saturday at a local gym, and made some great contacts, met some great people, and got the message out there. Continue to get the message out there, which was cool.
I think it's exciting. You get, whether it's an email or you see something come off your e-commerce site and somebody makes an order. That must be so mind-blowing to say, hey, from conception to all the things I've been working on, I've got people ordering. And as you said, people have ordered from coast to coast. That must be so exciting for you just to get that order. It's
really neat. And I mean, one of the trends with starting and doing something like this, Rich, is, your first handful of sales are always to people you know. In my case, it was me jamming the website down at everybody's throat going, hey, you got to check it out. You got to check it out. And so there's some sales that come as a result of that. The sales that blow your mind are the ones that come through where you don't know the person. And like, I don't even know anybody that lives in that state. I don't know this person. Thinking back to some of the early orders, I would tell my wife, oh, so-and-so just bought a shirt, or so-and-so wants this, or, that kind of stuff. And then, those orders come in where it's like, I just got an order, from this person. She's like, who is that? I don't know who that is. So it's pretty neat. And it's a good feeling knowing that you're producing something that a complete stranger finds interest in. Or that it resonates with them. A lot of times, your own messaging is relevant to the people in the world in your circle, but to know that there's somebody in another country or a different state that doesn't know you, that sees your stuff on the internet and is just like, yeah, that's cool. I want a hat and a shirt. That's wild to me. That's wild.
That's cool. So when you order from comingonstrong.net, you'll be receiving something when it comes in the mail from Delco. And I would ask you, how do you explain Delco to somebody?
Oh my goodness. So I'm a transplant to Delco. I moved to Delco in October of 2019. And one of the first things I learned was the people. There's a diverse, very, very diverse range of people. And I love that because I'm a people person. I've met people from all walks of life, nationalities, religions, beliefs, and I'm a pretty open-minded person, and I love that kind of stuff. I love talking to people and meeting people. I've also learned that there's people that if you don't want to talk, you don't have to, and they're cool with that. The people of Delco are awesome. The outdoor life. The parks. I'm an outdoor person, and so is my wife. And for people that don't know what Delco is, people from where I previously lived, they just think Dan moved to Philly. They think I'm like living into like under the Liberty Bell or something. Like they think Dan lives in Philly. Dan doesn't live in Philly. Dan lives in a nice suburb of Philadelphia called Havertown, and there's probably more and larger and better parks in Delaware County than anywhere I've ever lived. My wife and I are constantly hiking and going outdoors and taking the dogs with us, and both of us absolutely love it. And the other thing we love, Rich, is eating. It's not just peppered with chain restaurants. If you want seafood, Italian, Asian fusion, pizza, and I mean, so many different styles of pizza. Where I'm from, it's Northeast Pennsylvania, Old Forge style pizza, which claims to be the pizza capital of the galaxy or whatever. There's some pizzerias locally here in Havertown that, would give them a run for their money. So, it's people, it's the outdoors, it's the food. And I think probably one of the most important things, Rich, is as big as Delco is, as big as Delaware County is, the small sense of community. And I say that wholeheartedly because the amount of people that I meet that know each other, and I meet a lot of people because I'm always out and about, the amount of people that know each other or went to school here or know this person or how everybody's connected blows my mind considering how big Delco is. It's wild and I love it.
Dan, you talked about by day, you do sales, you have your territory, and by night, you have this fledgling, growing, expanding apparel company. What gets you out of bed every day? What gets you motivated to start the day and get after it and come on, the whole coming on strong mantra?
My 2-year-old dog, Aries, he's a Shepherd Husky mix who has all the energy in the world and needs to get out. Truthfully, I think the messaging behind the brand, knowing that, there's somebody out there that, needs that inspiration, needs the encouragement, needs some sort of strength or a reminder that, hey, it's mind over matter. If you're in a place in life where you don't want to be, getting out of it and moving on is up to you. You have what it takes. You have the ability to do that. And there's been times where people have literally told me, like, this mind over matter shirt. And it's a very simple, plain shirt, Rich. It says mind over matter. Looks like it's stamped on the shirt. It's the number one selling piece. But to know that if there's orders, sitting in the inbox, ready to be processed and shipped out, and I ignore that because I'm in a bad mood or, whatever the case may be, there's somebody out there just literally waiting to get their hands on that shirt. Whether they're wearing it around the house or the gym or the school or the class or where, I have no idea where some of this stuff ends up, but it's knowing that the Coming On Strong apparel line, Rich, captures all of that, the strength, the encouragement, the inspiration, and serves as a daily reminder, when you're driving down the road and you have one of these hats on and you look in the rear view and you see Coming On Strong. It's like, yeah, don't quit, keep going, persevere and move on.
Who are some of your mentors? Who do you look up to or look at, and that's somebody that gives you that drive to come on strong or mind over matter? Who are some of the people that you connect with?
Oh my goodness, that's a good question. I grew up, I'm not going to be able to drop big names. It's nobody that's
people have said their parents. I mean, I don't want to lead you, but people have said, hey, my dad, my mom, my cousin, my aunt, my uncle. I mean, it doesn't have, basically, I look at it, you are the, you are the reflection of the 5 people you hang out with. Right.
Right.
But no, I mean, when you think of your day and who, mentors you or who who motivates you? Who are they? Who are those people in your life?
I'd say a lot of motivation and the mindset comes from, this is a tough one, Rich. Motivation. I'm thinking of like audiobooks. I'm thinking of, this bookcase that I have behind me, authors. Inspiration. I think it all depends. I've pulled inspiration from motivational speakers such as Jim Rohn. I've pulled inspiration from, motivational leadership speakers such as John Maxwell. I've gone to see John Maxwell in person, which was really cool. That's a tough one, Rich.
All right, I'm going to ask you an easy one.
Go ahead.
You have a craving for a cheesesteak. Where are you heading?
Boy, that's not an easy one. I don't eat meat, so I wouldn't know where to go for a cheesesteak.
We've got to get you a vegan cheesesteak. I know that.
No, here's the answer to that question. If I were to go eat a cheesesteak right now, I would go probably 2 blocks from my house to a place called Boardwalk Vegan. They're 1 block in on Manoa from Westchester Pike. The corner of Manoa and Westchester Pike, are 1 block in on the corner. I would go there for a cheesesteak.
Well, Wilson's Secret Sauce, not too far from you either, makes a vegan cheesesteak if you ever have a craving.
Okay, I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Okay. I believe it's vegan. So there you go. Now, I'm not sure, given the nature of the previous answer, where are you going for pizza if you got over to Boardwalk Vegan and now you have a craving for a pizza?
Okay, so pizza. I'm going to give two different places for 2 different reasons. The first place would be to dine in and eat pizza. I would go to Pica's on Westchester Pike. I've learned, and I say dine in, I preface that whole thing by saying dine in because we've learned that it doesn't travel well. Something happens from the time you leave their restaurant to the time you get home. The pizza's still good, but not as good as when you're eating it at the table in the restaurant. However, good take-home pizza or pizza delivered would be Tony Roni's on Eagle. The Sinatra, we're a big fan of the Sinatra. So that being picked up or delivered to the house is our go-to for that style pizza. And dine-in pizza, as of right now, Pica's holds that #1 spot.
You're heading to one of your pop-up shows that you're doing and you need to stop off at a convenience store. Where are you going? Wawa or Royal Farms?
Wawa. You
have friends, family coming into town and you want to give them that Delco experience. Where are you taking them or sending them? I kind of guess an idea based on your previous kind of explanation of Delco, but I could be wrong. Where are you taking them or sending them?
Oh my goodness. It would depend on food. So we would definitely take them to a local restaurant. Which local restaurant? Off the top of my head, Rich, I don't know, but we would definitely go to a really good local restaurant. Friends and family are usually into similar things, outdoors and things like that. Terrain is an awesome place. Any of the parks outdoor. See,
I figured you would take them to a park, then you go out to eat because a lot of great restaurants. And after that, you're going to go for a workout to work off all that again. And
that's right.
Make sure they're outfitted head to toe with all the Coming on Strong Mind Over Matter logo that you have available for them.
That's right.
Yeah, you have some lovely parting gifts for going back from where they are so they can show that off to their friends and family.
Yeah.
Dan, is there anything we haven't touched upon on the podcast today? Is there anything you want people to know about you or the Coming on Strong brand, what people can expect in the future?
I think in the immediate future, what people can expect from Coming on Strong are new designs. And this is super important. This is the silver bullet right here. New designs on new shirts. Instead of using a 100% cotton shirt like I did in the past, we're mixing it up with a blend and introducing introducing new designs. So that's something people could expect. New designs on new apparel, new feeling, new look. And there's a couple of things on the back burner that my wife has had the had got to witness me experimenting with downstairs, and I'll leave it at that. But as for right now, it's new designs on new apparel, favorable. Just kind of polling people. Hey, what do you like? What don't you like? What would you like to see? And there's a handful of surveys that came back saying, hey, the 100% cotton is great, but a blend would be better. So kind of listen to the feedback, and we're introducing a blend. Showcasing it soon.
This would make a great holiday gift. Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, it's all coming. You need to fill all those wish list items for people and make sure you get these as gifts. ComingOnStrong.net, Dan Bantell, thanks so much for being a friend of What's Happening Delco and being on the podcast tonight. We can't wait to see more designs. We can't wait to see just you out and about and showing off all that you're doing, and just appreciate your time tonight.
Rich, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.